Hi, my name is Tabby, and I have recently found out that my whole life has basically been one big lie. It all started when my older sister Daphne and I saved up to send off for DNA, an ancestry test from one of those online ancestry sites. We love history and wanted to find out more about the history of our parents, ancestors. We didn't tell our parents about what we were doing because we wanted it to be a surprise. It was very exciting. The moment we received the test results, we were confused and shocked. The results showed that there were lots of differences in the areas of the world where our DNA came from. So many differences. What exactly could that mean? We thought there must have been a mistake. We contacted the company. Everything was double-checked, and they said that the results were correct, which just made us even more confused. That night, Daphne and I sat down to watch a movie and eat ice cream, which is our usual Friday night tradition. But instead of watching a movie, we stayed up all night discussing the DNA results. We racked our brains trying to come up with some kind of rational explanation, but we were clueless. Daphne suggested that we check the site, as maybe we could find an explanation there. As we were searching through the site, Daphne stopped for a second and looked at me like she was about to say something. So I commented, "I know what you are thinking, but please don't say it." Daphne put the ice cream aside and asked, "But what if it's true?" We stared at each other for a moment, and it hit me. Flashes of our childhood, our trips, and our flights all passed through my head, like a movie. And I said to myself, what if it is true? Daphne clicked on some button, and we saw that we were not listed as sisters. What? Wait. Refresh the page, I said. Still the same result? I don't even know how to describe how we felt. It was really a state of shock, a state of disbelief and denial. It couldn't be true. Everyone had always said that my sister and I looked alike. We have the same long, incredibly thick brown hair and bright, cheerful smile. We even acted the same. Everyone said we were the closest sisters they had ever seen. Daphne said it can't be. Maybe our parents could call the company and straighten things out. I looked at her and said, "But if this is true, then who is adopted? Me or you?" In the morning, after having some hot chocolate with my parents in the kitchen, my mum went upstairs. We decided to gently mention the issue to my dad. We were still sure it was all just a huge mistake. I'll never forget the look on his face. He didn't seem like he knew what to say. So he called Mum. She entered the room and Dad told her, "The girls had a DNA test online." It seemed enough for my mum to know something was going on, so she sat down. They stared at each other for a while and Mum said, "We knew this day would come and you would know the truth, but this is not how we planned to tell you." Finally, Dad said, "Tabby, I am so sorry you had to find out like this. I'm so sorry, Tabby. We adopted you. So it's me." My mum added, "Tabby, we love you a lot. We never felt like you were not our real daughter." Can you imagine how I felt? It felt like a huge glass wall was between us. I started yelling, asking how they could hide this from me for so long. I said that deep down I always had a feeling like I do not belong to this family. I started saying things about how they failed in raising me and loving me. I called them liars, then ran up to my room, sobbing. Daphne tried to follow me, but I told her to leave me alone. I couldn't stop myself from looking at my results on the site. It showed other people who are related to me. I honestly felt like I might faint. Surely this was all some kind of joke. But it was real. My father had said so. I'd been living a lie. All this time, and my parents had lied to me. I have to think of them as my adoptive parents now. As I looked through the list of people I was related to, the picture of a girl appeared that caught my attention. She had something about her, a similarity to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I stared and stared, and this girl was the trigger to all questions that I did not ask because I was too busy crying. Who am I? Where did I come from? How did my parents find and adopt me? I threw myself down on my bed in a fit of tears. For the next week, I treated my parents like dirt. I didn't go to school and I barely even left my room. After a week, I called Daphne to my room and told her I'm going to find my real parents and find myself. Daphne did not know what to say. She asked if I will still be her sister. I told her I don't know, and that I was just feeling so confused right now. I didn't tell my parents and I went to the company. I asked the lady at the desk if there was anyone I can talk to about finding my real parents. She asked me to wait in the waiting room, and after about 15 minutes, a man approached me and invited me to his office. We discussed the procedure of finding my parents, and he told me that it might take a long time, and that it is not an easy procedure. He said that nothing is guaranteed, but I didn't care. I was determined to find out who my real parents were. He asked me to go home and wait for an email. The procedure took 1 month. They were the longest 30 days of my life. I checked my email daily, in the morning and again at night, hoping to receive that email. For that whole month, I treated my parents like strangers. My mother tried to talk to me many times, but I wouldn't respond. I was too mad at them. Finally, the email arrived, and in it, an invitation to the council's office in 2 days. When I got to the council's office, a woman welcomed me. She said she was a psychologist and that it was important that she accompanies me through this. She asked me to sit down and handed me a letter. I opened it, my hands shaking. "Hello, Tabby. It is your mum. My name is Lauren and I am 30 years old. I was very surprised when you asked to meet me and your father, although I've been expecting this moment ever since I handed you to the shelter. I am sad to inform you that your real father is no longer with us, and I wanted to send you this short letter to apologise. I am not interested in coming to meet you. I was 17 when I had you. I put my past behind me and moved on. You were not meant to be mine. But if you are interested to know more facts, I am willing to answer one more letter. I hope you are doing well, wherever you are. I have faith in you and I think of you always." I felt like someone had just punched me in the chest. I started sobbing uncontrollably. The psychologist tried to comfort me, but all I wanted at that moment was Daphne, so they called her to come and sit with me. Daphne arrived fast and she hugged me immediately. All she said was, "I am here and I will always be with you." Honestly, her words were exactly what I needed to hear at that moment. We spent 2 hours chatting with the psychologist. I explained how guilty I felt for treating my adoptive parents so badly throughout the whole last month because seriously, they don't deserve it. I realised they are amazing human beings for taking me in so lovingly, and they never ever made me feel like I was adopted, not even once. Daphne told me that my parents are so worried about me and that they have been on their feet since I left the house this morning. We went home and I hugged my parents and cried. I realised how happy I am that they are my parents and that family doesn't necessarily have to be blood related. We can choose our families, whether they be our friends or adoptive parents. A family cares for you and accepts you for who you are. A family wants only the best for you, and if you're happy, they're happy. And they will always be there for you when you are sad. Family is seriously the most precious thing in the world.